Y'all know there's really only a small distance between petty and police. Okay. And we're going to talk about that in this video because, of course, we got to talk about Kim and Kroy. We got a lot to cover in this video, actually. So buckle up, y'all. Buckle up. Let's skedaddle on down into what's going on. So, first of all, just want y'all to know that Kim Zolciak has completed a 4-hour court ordered parenting class in the fight for primary custody following police drama. Now, we're going to get to the police drama in just 1 second. All right. Now, apparently, Radar Online has obtained the documentation. Kim submitted her certificate of completion for the online course called Navigating Family Change Seminar. Now, what is this course all about? All right. It's a total of 4 hours, and the program is described as a parenting seminar that shall be successfully completed within 31 days of service of the original complaint upon the original defendant. Now, the website for the company says that the program teaches parents how to talk to their kids about divorce and how to help them grieve the breakup of their family. All right. You know that both of them are demanding primary custody of the 4 minor kids, and they both want the other to cough up monthly child support. And Kroy has asked that Kim be forced to vacate the home that they share and never return. Never. Okay. Never return. So, I feel like this is, a good thing that Kim has completed this. But the fact of the matter is, as the details begin to unfold, we begin to find out more things about what was leading up to the final straw, which was the divorce filing. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, we're talking about 2 different situations in which the cops have been called. We're going to talk about the first situation first, and then we're going to get to the second. All right, now the first one is basically Kroy calling the cops on Kim, accusing her of refusing to leave the bathroom. See, this is why I feel like, now I don't know much about divorce. I really don't. I got to be honest with y'all. Don't know much about it. I don't know much about algebra. Okay. But what I do know is this sounds too contentious for these 2 people to be still living in the same house together. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. All right. So apparently, a tense verbal dispute led Kroy to call the cops on Kim amid their divorce proceedings. Okay. Now, the investigation report, which was obtained by Radar Online, detailed the incident that occurred on May 2nd. All right. Just before the divorce filings, before the official filings. And this occurred around 10:23 p.m. Now, Kroy was apparently the first to greet the officers upon arrival. Now, the police had initially responded to the house regarding a domestic dispute, but they both claimed that they did not get physical once the officers went in the home. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, y'all must have had a little bit of a bit of second thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Because was it phoned in as a domestic dispute? Because if that's what the police were responding to, then that's probably what they was told. Okay. And we're going to get into the domestic part of it all in just 1 second. Now, apparently, Kim was refusing to leave the master bathroom, despite Kroy expressing that he wished to shower. Now, you can't tell me that they ain't got no other shower up in that house that he could have gone into for that moment. Okay. But I guess the man said, if I live here, I want to shower too. Okay. What if she was showering and she didn't want him to shower with her? Okay. Anyway, so apparently, according to Kroy, nothing physical occurred. But we're going to talk about that. All right. Now, Kroy apparently told the officers that this was the first time that the police department was called in response to an incident involving the 2 of them. Kroy said that the kids were home at the time, but they were already asleep and unaware of any conflict between him and Kim. Now, Kim has a different story. All right. She told the officers that she was on the phone when Kroy began shouting at her and telling her to leave. So I'm guessing she was on the phone in the bathroom. And so Kim said that when she tried to make her exit, Kroy would stand in the doorway and block her, also accusing Kroy of chest bumping her. So basically, let me get into the description of it all. Okay. She's saying she's trying to leave. He then is blocking the door after telling her to leave. And then he going bump her with the chest, bump her with the chest like that, bump her with the chest. Now, to me, this is bordering on the physicality of it all. All right. If there's some bumping of the chest, you know what I'm saying? If there's bumps and a bump, 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 then I feel like that's some type of physicality that needs to definitely be addressed. Okay. Now, she also stated that nothing physical occurred on this date, but it did. A chest is it? Wait a minute. Is it just me, or is a chest bump not physical? That seemed like a little physicality to me. A little chest bumping. You know, that's what you do when you about to fight somebody. That's when it's getting on up in there, right? Y'all know how it is. So anyway, so she says that Kroy prevented her from calling 911 in the past by snatching her phone when they would fight. So if they fighting to the point where you got to call 911, what's going on here? Okay, is it more than chest bumping? So apparently Kim was advised to call the police if any of those offenses or any other ones occurred, I guess beyond that. And she was told to go to a neighbor's house if needed. So she implied that she previously didn't want to get the authorities involved to avoid media attention. I guess that makes sense. That's why we didn't hear nothing about these things earlier. So the cops apparently told Kroy to separate from Kim for the night so that things would not escalate. So then he was informed that he could be charged with offenses if he prevented Kim from calling 911 or forced her to stay in the home in the future. So, interesting that there is some preventing from leaving the home, okay, and that he could potentially go to jail if he ever did that again. Now, no arrests were made. All right, no arrests were made, so we can, at least say that for this first incident. All right, so let's get into the second incident. All right. Now, on this second incident, Kim accused Kroy of locking her designer bags and jewelry in a safe. And at this point, they're instructed by the cops to remain civil in front of the kids. So, what happened? Now, on May 4th, this is 2 days later, okay? 2 days after the first incident, all right? Involved in a separate incident, the officers were back at Kim and Kroy's home. All right. Because Kim claimed Kroy took property away from her and locked it away in the safe. All right. These are the designer bags and jewelry. All right. Now, when questioned about this, Kroy admitted to responding to police officers that he was allegedly attacked by Kim, claiming he has an audio recording to prove it. Okay, so now we're getting into another thing. Apparently, the man say he was attacked by Kim, and he has the audio of it to prove it. All right. Apparently, Kroy then advised that Kim had punched him in the back of the head during an earlier altercation concerning the disputed property. All right. So we got chest bumping, we got punching in the back of the head, apparently. Okay. This is crazy. This is getting crazy. All right. Now, Kroy told the officer he didn't have any visible injuries or evidence to prove that Kim had caused any injuries to him other than an audio recording of an incident. So unless there's some sound effects up in that thing, we ain't gonna hear about it. Okay. We're not gonna hear it. We're just gonna have to go on his word. Now, This is crazy because they all still living under the same roof. All right. Now, apparently, the officers began to scold the two of them, advising them to behave for the sake of their shell shocked children watching the drama unfold. It says several times during the encounter, the officers employed Kroy and Kim to remain civil due to the presence of their four juvenile children. Now, the police have responded to their home at 6:49 p.m. after Kim called 911 to report that Kroy had locked her designer purse and jewelry worth $175,000 along with her passport in the home's basement safe. Might want to get to selling that, boo. Anyway, Kim alleges that Kroy had taken the property that did not belong to him and was a premarital asset. The plot thickens. And Kroy told the officer that the items were marital property, accusing Kim of having a gambling problem and losing a large sum of money recently. Okay. Now, after the police have to, kind of cajole him to do so, Kroy then gets the items from the safe, but not before telling Kim to leave the room because he didn't want her to see where he had hidden the key. Petty. So then, as the officers were leaving, Kim was seen loading up, they say furiously, loading up the white Range Rover with her personal belongings, purses, glasses, handbags, and other items. Hopefully she got them wigs, okay? Otherwise, if you made a purchase for your wig, you might not get it unless she took them too, because them wigs seem like they worth a pretty penny. So she took those items, in an attempt to keep him from seizing them ever again. Then Kim begged the officers to remain on the scene to prevent her, her ex, Kroy, from stopping her. So in retaliation, petty, Kroy then yanks out his cell phone to record the incident. It is presumed that this was being done for divorce court. So apparently they engaged in several verbal disagreements, which included Kroy putting his attorney on speakerphone so that Kim could hear the definition of marital property, is what the report states. So he had called the lawyer, put the lawyer on speakerphone to say, can you tell this woman the definition of marital property so you know that these things that you're trying to take belongs to the marriage and not to you. Now, then, y'all, it gets worse. While preparing the 5-page police report, Kroy then calls 911 at 10:42 to report that Kim was using his credit card, sparking another argumentation over whether the card was marital property. But it doesn't end there. Y'all, at 1:19, Kim called 911 to report that she returned to the house to retrieve medications from her bedroom, but Kroy had allegedly barricaded himself inside and was refusing to open the door. Now, he told the officers he placed the medication in the hallway. This is getting real petty. Now, if you leave, the woman need her medications, man. So when she called the police again, claiming that some of her meds were missing, they suggested that she call an ambulance to transport her to the hospital. Where is your scooter? Well, we don't need one now. We got an ambulance. Okay. So she decided to sleep in another room instead. I'm like, girl, if you need these medications, I'm calling the ambulance. Okay. I'm calling the ambulance. I told y'all it was a long and winding road. Now, I ain't even got a chance to really talk about. Y'all give me your thoughts and your feedback on that situation down in the comment section down below. We're going to talk. I had 3 stories actually, but this one took so dang on long that we now got to talk about Joseline. She got expelled from the College Hill. Am I surprised? No. Okay. Are you surprised? You shouldn't be. All right. Now, she claimed that she dog walked Amber Rose. For those of you that don't know what that means she put the paws on her so bad, she walking like a dog. Walk like. So then she says it was Amber that came after her. And she gets expelled for the altercation. And she's in shock because she claims she is the blackest bee in the house. Well, is Joseline the blackest bee in the house? Y'all let me know in the chatterization. Let me know. Is she the blackest bee in the house? I ain't know. What I know is she ain't in the house no more. Okay? So that can't be the case now. Anyway, that's the tea we got for y'all this morning. Lots going on. Lots going on. It's a mess. I'm going to catch y'all in the next video.